Thank you for tuning into the Rebirth podcast. This one is a part of a pep talk. And also we give you an activity that to connect with nature. And I find it's a great process, especially if you repeat yourself, meaning you go back to the same place, you interact with a spot in nature and you make friends. I reference also in this episode that I'll be doing Write the Year, and we're starting it September 21st. You can sign up on the website. There's a link in the show notes or on my Substack. Those are the places that you can stay in touch with me, right? So I have my website, and I also have Substack where I write. And if you are a writer or a creative, it's a really great place to find other like-minded, even if you're not creating the same thing, but that you are putting yourself in a circle of people that believe in the power of creativity, which is something I believe pretty strongly in. I hope you enjoy this episode. And if you make friends with your own Bob, send me an email and let me know. Have a great day, guys. Did you know Rebirth is also a book? You can order it online or at any of your local favorite bookstores. Let me know how you find it. If you're curious about the Listen to Her sessions, they're specifically designed for intuitive clarity to arrive and resound over your daily noise and doubt. They gift you with available insight and inspired action, personally and professionally, uplifting your daily reality and collective frequency, because that's what magnetism does. If you're curious, go to katebretton.com where you can learn more. Now let's get back to the episode. Hey everybody, how have you been finding the season 8 episodes? Are you enjoying them? I'm thinking we're going to do these mini episodes, where I talk to you about some stuff and then it'll coalesce into a guest episode. We have really beautiful guests lined up for you this season, and you can count on a new episode releasing every Monday from September through December. That's what I'm committed to doing. If we want to extend season 8, we'll see. Let's see how it goes. So thank you for the new listeners. Thank you for the old listeners. And thank you for you. Right here, right now, listening. Not so fun to have a microphone if no one's going to click play, right? And I appreciate all of you sharing, liking, subscribing, because like we say here at the Rebirth community, you want to support the energy that you want to see more of. So if you're looking to make more meaning in your life, if you're wanting to elevate your perspective, because life is, sometimes a little cumbersome, let's share more of that. That's also why so I write on Substack, right? That's the cool kid situation. I write the Golden Thread, which is about same thing here, just a little different, that everything is interconnected. And I was reading something recently about how some minds just cannot not see the connection. And it made me think of how when I was in college and my roommates and I were like watching. So Thursday night TV used to like be a thing, and we would be watching like Friends and then whatever came after Friends. And then ER would come on and then we would go out, right? Because we were 20. So we went out at 11. And I remember we had like this little tiny TV and it was on top of our little tiny fridge. And I would be deconstructing commercials. And my roommates are like, "Can you not?" I'm like, "Actually, I can't. I cannot share." But no, I'm not efforting. I'm not efforting. I'm just narrating what I see. And so there's just been, as I'm making a personal commitment in my daily life and not in my practitioner self, to be more committed to inner knowing and more supportive of intuitive guidance, there's been some really interesting currently layers of confirmation. One of the things that I read this morning, which I'll link, what I'll do is I'm going to share about it on the Golden Threads. I'll just link it there so I don't get the names wrong. But it was an amazing artist. And Vajna is now doing more writing as opposed to, or in collaboration with her drawings. And you might have even seen her work. If you've ever been on the social medias and seen the drawings where, so it's Vajna Vuklek, and she had the drawings where there were women's like tasteful women figures drawn, and then their heads were flowers. And she said it's part of her mission to this is my word, illuminate or highlight or support the interconnectedness between humanity and nature. And I am too. And I realize that some of us are more attracted to different elements of the natural kingdom, right? And mine sometimes tends to be the air element as opposed to the earth element, because I don't have a lot of earth in my chart. So that's something I'm always in these middle path years efforting to do more of. And what does that mean? It means like going out and getting the sun every morning, having a small garden, being barefoot, stuff like that. I'm kind of going all around, but hopefully this is circling us into center. So Bajna has a Substack called Multilayered, and I woke up this morning to one of her posts saying hiding is exhausting. And I just super exhaled on that. And in this moment, it's a September, and September has that, let go vibe, like still have all the fun, if on the East Coast, you're not freezing, but like, just let go. Okay. You're not going to be doing all the things now. All the things that you were going to do in the summer that had to happen for all the things to be doing the things, let go. Summer's over. It's 50 at night. She's gone. She'll see you next year. Let go. And we hear let go. This podcast is all the, what happens when you let go and let life lead. Let go, let go, let go. And people, then it reminds me of like one of the mom memes I've seen of like, you don't have to do everything. And then the mom's like, well, if I don't do it, who's going to? And I think that's where our psyche is. It's like, okay, I'm fine if I let go, but life is so difficult. There's so much that needs to be accomplished. Like, how am I supposed to just like let go when I'm in a deficit? Right? How do I let go when I'm in a panic? I saw this vagus nerve exercise you could do right now. You put your finger in the like the curve of your ear at the top, and you go in circles, and it's supposed to release and relax your vagus nerve. How do you let go when you're full of resentment? It's not a pretty word for a lot of us, right? We don't want to be resentful. We don't want to be angry. But they stop up our system, those emotions. They stop up our system. And, there's so much I'm seeing, even personally. I don't really know if I'm going to get into the podcast, because I don't know if you're interested in that, but like reestablishing gut health, and with my perspective on interconnectedness, and, it's not lost on me to what is emotionally afoot if my digestive fire that makes sure there's enough nourishment for me needs to be reestablished. What has put out that fire? And where has it forced me to over yang? My lack of receptivity, right? So it's September. Interesting thing. Like, I'm looking at all these cross layers of things also, because my creative invitation is to write the year. And the idea came up because last year I did the 13 days of reflection as inspired by one person's interpretation of Rudolf Steiner, where you like the 13, like right after Christmas, you do the 13, the microcosm of those days are supposed to be energetically connected to the months of the year. And so there was a contemplation each night for each astrological sign, which connected to a portion of the body, which connected to a portion of the will or creation. And I really enjoyed doing it. And what I enjoy even more is, well, we're on September now, so I'm almost at the completion. I've gone back every month. I go back and I look at my insights and inspirations and what I feel like intuitively I would need to be working on. And guess what? It's not like super descriptive, or it's not super prescriptive, but it's on. It is tracking. It's tracking. So I'm like, okay, well, this is something I'm going to do every year now. Doing cleanses is something I'm going to do every year now. And looking at this idea about the cleanse and emotions, it's like we're intaking so much that the release is not as often, and then we can't receive. It's kind of like if you go to a potluck and you thought the like appetizer table was all it was, and so you like ate too many chips, and then this beautiful food comes out, and you're like, oh man, if I knew it was gonna get better. It's not about food at all, and it's not about judging food at all, right? It's about the abundance. And for me, I don't know about you. I would love to know if this is resonant for you right now, if it's a seasonal thing or just a personal thing for me and my fiery personality, is to trust divine timing. Like when I have an idea, I'm initiatory, like all over my chart, fire, initiatory. I go, I can help people spark, go, 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 go. But I have to, especially right now, slow and pace. And I literally have to tell myself to trust the timing. Like I'm not just waxing political or, oh, that's interesting, slip, waxing poetic on the microphone. Like I actually have to say, Katie, trust the timing, divine timing. You're in rhythm. And then my shoulders relax. And then I'm starting to do that little thing where I just told you to do. We can do it again, where you put your fingers on your top of your ear. I'm going to go find that social media. I'm going to have to give you guys a lot of resources. So make sure you read the show notes. I don't want to get their names wrong. But yeah, then we relax our vagus nerve again. Okay. So I have a story for you that encapsulates this idea of letting go of resentment or emotions that would block our fire, that would make it difficult to receive the bounty that is really available for us. It's a true story, so I can't say who the person is, but I just want to tell it to you. Okay. So I'll say more than 5 years ago. It was probably more like 8 years ago. I had a person come for a one-on-one session. Every session is different, but there's a couple things that are sort of the same. And, you tune in. If you've ever done any kind of body work, you kind of have to, you can't just like jump on the body, you make friends, you introduce yourself, you approach humbly. So, I go, the person's face down and clothed. The person's face down, it's a female. And she knows a person that I know. Okay, so there's like, which is important to the story. So there's like a connection point. She doesn't have complete anonymity for her. So she gets on the table. I put my left hand, at her occiput, and I put my right hand on her sacrum, and I close my eyes, and nothing, like nothing. I'm like, oh, okay. So I take it out of the breath again, and it's not nothing. This is not okay. Let me just, in case you're not, haven't had this experience. Have you ever okay, have you ever been at like a party and you see somebody? This is like, think like neutral, like you have to be at the party. Say it's like a work party or some like kids' school party or something that like you have to be there, and so you are, but you're not the one maybe organizing the party. You are not the host. And so you effort to be socially engaged, and you make eye contact with somebody to just be like, hey, like maybe another like friend, just someone at the bean dip. And it's like nothing. Like they just turn and walk away. It's not even personal. It's just like they are not open for conversation. They're just going to go eat their bean dip. Okay, that's what I'm talking about when I said the nothing on the table. So here's a little tidbit. Some practitioners will force, right? They paid for a session. This is my schedule. This has to happen. Da 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 da. I was not trained that way. We were not trained that way. So there's no force. So now I'm in, at the time, an office space, and this person's face down. They came because they were highly recommended from somebody we know in common. And I am sensing that I do not have permission or availability to work on this person. So I could fake it and compromise my integrity and my promise to myself on what I do when I work with people. Or I could have a perhaps uncomfortable conversation with the person on the table who we both know there's another third party waiting to hear how the session went. So I said, so funny, this session really stuck out, and maybe it's circling back to bring people closer to nature. So I said to this woman, thank you so much for coming today. Your body does not feel like it wants to be worked on, and the nature of our work first has to come from permission base. So I actually cannot work on you today. And her face. And because I'm on the East Coast, the next thing I say is, of course, there will be no charge. Face relaxes. I don't know if you're curious, we could maybe try something and see if you want to come back. The face is slightly receptive. And because what I'm realizing is we have a body that is not receptive, which means we have a body that is shut down, which means we have a body that doesn't feel safe, which means we have to start with safety. You cannot change a frequency on a form without the permission to do so. That's not healing. So I said to this person, this might sound crazy, but like I was reading this article about nature and how our nervous system, and I was just wondering if, now I know this person lives like past suburbs on a large enough plot of land that is very feasible for them to do what I asked next. I said, would you be open for doing like just a little meditation every day outside? And she's like, well, what do you mean? I go, well, you would pick a spot. Now here, dear listener, I am going to give you this recommendation. It's fabulous. And it's something that we've been doing to prepare for Write the Year, going to the same spot every week, watching nature evolve. So I said, pick a place outside that you can easily visit every day and just spend 10 minutes with like a tree or a plant, but make it the same one. And she was like, well, where am I going to go? Like a park? I was thinking, you live on a 1/4 acre. I thought, yeah, a park would work. Would there be anything on your closer that you could maybe walk to? And she said, well, if I do it on my own property, my husband will see me. I didn't say anything, and I said, oh, okay. Maybe there's someplace like, I don't know. And then she said, well, if I did it underneath my deck, there's a tree and nobody would see me. Now, listen, I get it. Not everybody's family is like super into whatever you're into. So I said, I think that would be great. So I kind of go over the idea, and what it is, in case you're interested in trying, you pick something. I love trees, but doesn't, depends on where you live in what is available to you. But you want to establish a relationship. So it could be a plant that you actually go purchase and put in your apartment, which I have done in different phases of my life. But there is an oak tree that I talk to, and I without words, I energetically present myself. And I say, I just want to sit with you, because they have energy and they talk. And then, the more you go and sit, the more you can start to hear, and the more then your body gets into the habit of having a place to release and connect. And nature is alive, so it is not the same as going to something that is static. It has its own vivacity and life to it, right? Let go and let life lead. Bring life in. I release my past. Life flows through me. If we are stuck on something, on a past hurt or resentment, it is hard for that flowing receptivity and abundance to come in. So she says she'll do it. Super stoked about that. And she comes back. She schedules a session. She comes back in. She walks through the door and she says, his name is Bob. And I thought, oh, there's another man. I said, Bob. She said, the tree. By the 5th morning, I'm sitting out there eating my yogurt with this tree. And I'm like, I have to name you. I just can't sit here and not talk to you. And every time I think of that, I get so happy, 5 days, 10 minutes. And you know what her and Bob figured out? Is that she doesn't want to carry the laundry from her son's room and her husband anymore. She is fine doing the laundry. She is fine taking care of the family that she loves. But they could at least put the laundry down the chute. Then what she's saying is they could respect and appreciate me. And so through this practice of eating her yogurt outside with a tree, which brought her out of her normal and brought her into presence and connection, she made a mandate in her household. But really what she did is she put a boundary on her worth and the appreciation and how she wants to be seen. Right? It is one of my favorite stories, because it's great when the story is so huge and grandeur, but it is life-changing when it is happening in the detailed essence of your day. So I think September is just saying, let go. My past doesn't have a hold on me. Let go. Life flows through me. The past doesn't have a hold on me. Let go. Life flows through me. I am worthy because I'm alive. I have everything that I need. It was given to me at the time of my birth. And if you didn't listen to last week's podcast, I would encourage you. Courtney McDermott talks about giving yourself permission. And I really enjoy her book because I feel like it's accessible. And I love the idea of just, at the same time of saying, oh, you know what's happening right now? Dandelion wishes are flying upward into the sky. Dandelion wishes are flying upward into the sky. Give yourself permission. Let your wishes fly up. Let go of the clasp of the past and let life flow through you. I'll just imagine that those wishes are all of you, all of your thoughts, all of your wondering if you're worthy enough, if it's possible, if the economy, if the da-da-da, how can I, and we let that go. We release that past perception just for a moment, just with your friend Bob the tree, and your wishes fly up. Maybe write them down, maybe tuck them away, maybe come back and read them again in a month. Let September release your past. Give yourself enough time with presence in nature that which is binding you and preventing your receptivity illuminates. And then just give yourself permission to be worthy of transforming it right then and there, and the seed of your wish fly up to the heavens. I would love to hear if you give it a try. If you want to hear more about the reflections, I'll put the notes of the people that were writing in the show notes, probably linked to my Substack, The Golden Thread, so it's all one place for you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you back here next week. Be well. Thank you so much for being here on the Rebirth Podcast. Where would we be without you? Do us a favor, share, like, subscribe, and if you're feeling especially generous and you really want this to be the kind of messaging that is all over social media, one of positivity and upliftment, give us a 5-star review wherever you enjoy listening to the Rebirth Podcast.